Good evening and welcome to this week's episode of Spottings. For years now, reports of a large man-like creature have been coming out of the northwestern United States and Canada, called variably the North American Yeti, Sasquatch, or more commonly, Bigfoot. For years, this creature has eluded its pursuers since the time of the Native Americans over 400 years ago. In modern times, Yeti hunters have brought to bear even more scientific methods and sophisticated tools pursuing this elusive creature. Frustrated for decades, hunters searched the inhospitable terrain of the Cascades, a common location for Sasquatch spottings. Then, in 1980, a catastrophic event occurred. With the eruption of Mount St. Helens, the native wildlife was abruptly displaced. Wouldn't, researchers wondered, there be a marked increase in Yeti spottings caused by a mass migration away from the beleaguered mountain? And if so, where did they go? Independent researchers think they have the answer.
The Sasquatch is a highly intelligent creature, otherwise it could have not eluded capture for all these years. It is my theory, and that of a group of my colleagues, that the Sasquatch has moved to the desert southwest and taken up residence in large urban areas.
Reports have come from many southwestern cities, but nowhere is there a greater body of evidence than in Phoenix, Arizona. Robert Peterson, longtime Yeti hunter, recounts his own encounter with the mysterious Yeti.
Yeah, this is right where it happened. I was out checking on some rogue sightings that had been happening here in this mountain park right in the middle of a city. And my partner, Joe Clem, he was sick that day, so I didn't have any photographic evidence. But anyway, I was out here, and I was walking along, coming down that way right here, and I was heading up there onto those hills. And I got just about right where I am now, and got this horrible, overpowering smell. I mean, it just came wafting down the canyon. And at first I thought they were having a Rosicrucian convention up the hill, but turned out it wasn't. It was a Yeti. And he came out of those bushes right there. He must have been 6 foot tall, 200, 220 pounds, maybe even more. Brown hair, and he's headed straight down towards me. And, well, you know, I was not prepared for this. I mean, I've been hunting for years, but the reality of it when it came to it was just too much. And I'm not a religious man, but I got down on my knees. Well, I was kind of hiding behind that bush, but I down on my knees and I prayed to God, our Maker, and I said, God, if you get me out of this alive, I'll never disturb these creatures again. And God must have heard me, because about that time, the creature saw me. He's no more than 8 feet away from me. And he turned and he waved, and then he walked on up the hill. And I just got the hell out of there.
I was coming along this path and I was walking my dog when all of a sudden my dog started growling, so I figured he needed to go to the bathroom. So I let him off his leash, and he went into the bushes over there, when all of a sudden I heard this horrible yelp. And my dog came running back with his tail between his legs, ran right behind me, and all of a sudden came this 6 foot tall, hairy thing just walking right across the path. And scared me so much I wet myself like a Rosicrucian. And it stopped, smelled the air, snorted a bit, and then walked right across that way, and that was the last I ever saw of it.
Yeah, I was out practicing my boxing for the regionals, and I just heard something coming through the bush. And I looked. It's a big hairy beast. And it really freaked me, but I thought, no, I'm a boxer. I could take whatever it was. But then it ran and let out this blood-curdling sound. It sounded something like this. Oh, 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 oh. And I looked at my wife, Adrian, and I said, hey, what was that? We better get out of here. And we ran really fast.
Many of the spottings are accompanied by hard physical evidence. Broken branches and overturned rocks prove that something was there. But what? Was it the elusive Yeti? Further evidence suggests that it was, in a series of unexplained footprints taken from the area.
There are 5 major classifications of Yeti or Sasquatch evidence. First is going to be a sighting by one person, and this person can be, generally is considered a reliable person, not prone to Prozac or other medications. A type 2 sighting is one in which we have more than one witness that can corroborate the story among each other, or multiple sightings at near proximity by multiple people. A type 3 is physical evidence of the passing, and that could be, of course, footprints, broken branches, possibly a hair sample left behind on a bush. Of course, type 4 is photographic or recording of some kind. And type 5 would, of course, be the capture of a live beast. What we've got here is a type 3 piece of physical evidence. We have a footprint here, and this footprint is very unique. It is approximately 11 inches long, but only 4 inches wide. And we've had experts analyze this, and you can tell that it is not a normal print. For one thing, a normal human, when they are walking, puts their weight down on the toe or the front portion of the foot here. But in this, you can see that the greatest weight distribution is here in the back. Now, that in itself is an unusual stride and is not consistent with neither human nor animal. Another thing that's rather odd about this is that you will notice that the back of the foot is much larger than the toe area here. And of course, the human foot coming down is going to produce a wider foot toe to heel ratio, but this is completely different, and it's just not a human footprint. Additionally, another thing that's rather peculiar about it is that the next footprint is 12 feet away, indicating an enormous stride. Unfortunately, because of the terrain, we can't tell if the next print is a left or right foot, unlike this one, which we believe to be a left foot. And so we don't know whether the stride is 12 or 24 feet.
Spotting sent its own team of independent investigators to the scene, equipped with the latest state-of-the-art Yeti detection gear, hoping to capture the first conclusive evidence of the urban Yeti. Shortly after setting up camp, the Yeti detectors recorded something. Here now is the first release of what happened.
Okay, increase the matter gain on the distance amplifier there. Okay, wait a minute. I've got a signal. It's about 25 meters out.
It's coming this way.
What's the bearing?
It's about 128 degrees northeast. He's getting closer. I've got him about 20 now.
It's running.
It's moving faster.
Coming this way.
Don't let him...
Yeah, I think I see something up there.
Yeah, he's real close now.
Something moving in the bushes. Yeah, I think I can see it.
I'm not quite sure it's...
If he gets too close, we're going to have to move.
Should we duck?
Let's duck.
But it was only a running man. In the next 16 weeks, the Yeti detection gear registered 394 additional potential spottings, but nothing was conclusive. For now, Yeti hunters must continue to search for the elusive creature. After filming this story, Spottings received this remarkable videotape taken just 14 miles from the Peterson sighting. Could this be the urban Yeti? Taken from horseback, this footage is rough, but offers a clear view of a large man-like creature walking through the park. Yeti hunters like Robert Peterson insist that the evidence is overwhelming and that we must accept the existence of the Yeti. Others aren't so sure. When we return, is this a giant sea monster living in the Arizona desert? Next on Spottings. For centuries now, reports of a large underwater creature have been coming out of Scotland, called variably the Loch Ness Monster, wee beastie, or Nessie. This creature has been eluding its pursuers since the time of St. Andrew the Liar in 565 AD. In modern times, Nessie hunters, who believe that the creature is a living example of a plesiosaur, have brought to bear even more scientific methods and sophisticated tools pursuing this elusive creature. Frustrated for decades, hunters searched the inhospitable murky waters of the Loch, the principal location for Nessie spottings. Then, in 1980, a particularly harsh winter fell upon the Highlands. Native wildlife was abruptly displaced in a mad dash to keep warm. Wouldn't, researchers wondered, there be a marked increase in Nessie spottings caused by mass migration away from the frigid Loch? And if so, where did they go? Independent researchers think they have the answer.
The plesiosaur is a highly intelligent creature, otherwise it could not have eluded capture for all these years. It is my theory, and that of a group of my colleagues, that the plesiosaur has moved to the desert southwest and taken up residence in large urban areas.
Reports have come from many southwestern cities, but nowhere is there a greater body of evidence than in Lake Pleasant near Phoenix, Arizona. Angus Pagorno, longtime Plessie hunter, recounts his own theories.
Well, there are a number of theories as to how a creature like this could get into a man-made lake. But my favorite theory is that perhaps someone in the area, possibly upstream, was raising a baby plesiosaur, and it got too big for them, and they flushed it down the loo. And it ended up here, in this amenable climate where it grew to full maturity.
Yes, well, I was out walking my dog along the shoreline, and my dog started growling, so I figured she needed to go to the bathroom. So I let off the leash, and went by the line, and I heard this horrible yelp. So next thing I know, the dog comes running back, tail tucked between its legs, hid behind me, when all of a sudden I saw this huge head just rear right out of the water, and it crossed right over there. Scared me so much I peed all over myself like a Rosicrucian. It stopped, sniffed the air, looked at me, snorted, and then just submerged, and that was the last I ever saw of it.
Well, we've done extensive satellite mapping of the lake and other scientific measurements measuring the entire volume of water that could fit in the lake. And at any given time, there is an unaccountable mass of 600 metric tons. And this is a size we feel is appropriate for a creature such as Plessie.
Yeah, I was out here training for the boxing regionals because I'm going to be champion twice. And I was with my wife Adrian, and we looked out there into the lake, and we saw this big old head. This big beast it looked like. Freaked me out, but I said, no, I could take it because I'm a boxer. But no, it let out this big scream. It went something like, oh, 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 oh. And me and my wife Adrian, we ran really fast then. It was scary.
Well, you'd think that perhaps with all the recreational boaters and the fishermen that would be in this lake, that the obvious answer would be that eventually a fisherman is going to catch a creature like this. But the average fisherman using this lake is hunting for something like trout or catfish. And you don't generally use a line heavy enough, fishing line, to capture a 600 metric ton creature. So I think that if anyone had caught the creature, and I think it's very likely that he has, their line is most likely broken, and they probably think they had a tire or other similar item of trash at the bottom of the water.
Many of the spottings are accompanied by hard physical evidence. Broken branches and overturned rocks prove that something was there. But what? Was it the elusive Plessie? Further evidence suggests that it was in a series of unexplained fin prints taken from the area. Spotting sent its own team of independent investigators to the scene equipped with the latest state-of-the-art Plessie detection gear, hoping to capture the first conclusive evidence of the Plessie. Shortly after setting up camp, the Spottings team recorded this remarkable footage.
Hey, you see that over there? See that ripple?
Oh my God.
Yeah, that must be it. That must be Plessie.
I don't
right
believe
over...
it.
It's
real.
Yeah, she's real. Right over there.
I never believed this.
No, I wouldn't either. There she is.
It's huge.
That must be 10 meters across.
At least.
Video experts analyzed our footage.
Well, do you see these waves here? Well, they could only have been caused by plesiosaur, because no way would a wind cause these ripples.
Not all experts agree, however.
My first tip-off that this is not a genuine picture of a plesiosaur is that there is absolutely nothing whatsoever in the picture. It might be an ichthyosaur, though, but definitely not a plesiosaur, since the ichthyosaur is known to be completely invisible to cameras.
We asked a Scottish Loch Ness expert if Plessie could be a relative of Nessie.
No, can't be. Look, if you want to see a real monster, call your local travel agent and make your way to the lovely Bonnie Highlands. Because remember, if it's not Scottish, it's crap.
And until further evidence is obtained, the jury is still out. Next time on Spottings, are extraterrestrial beings producing public access television programs? Until next time, remember, the check's not in the mail, it's a mix.